Assalamu alaikum. Dear students, our today's topic is to study about the characteristics of a population. In our last lecture, we discussed about the population size and density. Today we will be talking about the rest of the characteristics here. First of all, let's try and understand what is population dispersion. Apart from population size and density of individuals in an area, ecologists also want to know the distribution of the individuals of a population. So, how the individuals of a particular population are distributed in an area is called as dispersion, or it is the pattern of spacing among individuals, how individuals are spaced, or how they are dispersed or distributed. Or you can say dispersion refers to how the individuals in a population are distributed in space at a given time. All right, like organisms in a population are distributed like either uniformly or evenly like this. So if organisms or individuals are distributed in this pattern, that means you call it as uniform dispersion. And if the individuals of a population are distributed like this randomly, this is called as random dispersion. Or if the individuals of a population are found in groups or clusters like this, you will call it as clumped dispersion. Let's discuss them one by one. First of all, uniform dispersion. Uniform dispersion is, or it is it is observed when organisms are evenly spaced. All right, here in this pattern, so this is the uniform dispersion here. In this pattern, individuals are more or less spaced at equal distances. So they are placed more or less at equal distances from one another. This uniform dispersion here, you see, it is rare in nature. However, it's common in croplands. In case of animals, some territorial birds like penguins, they exhibit uniform dispersion like this. They maintain their defined territories at the time of nesting. So these penguins exhibit uniform dispersion. And this is the uniform dispersion in plants you see here in this pic. However, this pattern is rarely seen in nature, but it is common in the croplands. In random dispersion, the individuals of a population are distributed randomly. There is no particular or predictable pattern. You will see here, this is the example of dandelion plants. You can see they are randomly distributed because in case of these plants, the seeds are dispersed with the wind, and wind disperse the seeds randomly, so they grow randomly. So this is how random dispersion is in case of plants. Then comes the clumped dispersion. This type of dispersion is commonly seen in nature. Here in this type of dispersion, individuals are clustered, or they are found in the clusters or in groups. All right, you will see this is the school of fish here. So this is the clumped dispersion, or they are found in groups or clusters. So this is the this group of zebras, or sometimes herd of elephants, they are also found in clusters. Usually this clumped dispersion occurs where resources such as food and space are clumped together, and this is the commonly seen distribution pattern in nature. Putting all the threes together, you'll see here, this is how clumped dispersion looks like. So when organisms are found in clusters or groups, this is how groups are formed. So this is the this clumped dispersion or distribution. This is the random dispersion. Organisms are randomly distributed, and this is the uniform distribution. Coming to the age structure. Age structure actually is the proportion of individuals in each age group. Since in almost all the populations we have individuals of different age groups. All right, so the proportion of individuals in each age group is called as age structure of that population. age structure gives us the distribution of males and females in each age group, and this age distribution in a population is graphically represented with the help of a diagram. We call it as an age pyramid. This is an age pyramid here because this is the shape of a pyramid. That's why it's called as an age pyramid. This age pyramid gives us an idea whether a population is growing or a population is stable, or sometimes when if population is declining. So we'll get an idea from this age pyramid. So this age pyramid will give us an idea of males and females in each age group, how they are distributed. Suppose this is the this side, this is the females, this side, right side, and this is the male group. So this is how they are distributed, and all these individuals are grouped into on the base of their age. So there are 3 age groups, or scientists divide the population in 3 groups based on their age. First is post-reproductive group, like that is this yellow color here. So this portion shows the post-reproductive group. So in this group you can see organisms that cannot produce, that can no longer reproduce. So this is the older population, you'll see. And then we have reproductive group, like this portion, this brown color here. This shows the reproductive group. That means organisms that are capable of reproduction, or the adult population. This would be the adult population, this reproductive group. And then we have pre-reproductive group. So this is here. So the pre-reproductive group is the young population, or the younger individuals. So pre-reproductive is the individuals or organisms that are yet not able to reproduce, but they will reach the reproductive age after some time. So this age structure or age pyramids can show us how much a population can grow. Like in these, if you look at these 3 age pyramids of different countries, this is the post-reproductive group. So post-reproductive group is 45, from the age of 45 to 85 is post-reproductive group. Then we have reproductive group or adult group. It is like from the age of 15 to 45, 44. Then we have pre-reproductive or young population from 0 to 15. It's here. So if you compare these 3 diagrams here, just try and understand. If you look at this diagram, this is the first diagram. Here you see each layer represents the age group. So first layer is the like 0 to 5 age group, then second is 5 to 10, third is 10 to 15, and likewise. So this blue portion here shows us the young population or the pre-reproductive population. And if you look at these 3 diagrams, you'll see in this diagram 1, there are more pre-reproductive individuals, alright, and less older people. If you see here in these 2 diagrams, the pre-reproductive groups are, this is less and this is even lesser. So by looking at these diagrams, you can you'll come to know that this population, like this diagram number 1, this population is expanding population, or it shows the rapid growth, because these pre-reproductive individuals will reach the reproductive age after some time. So reproductive age is already there, so there will be more, they will have their own babies, they will have their own children, so there will be more new individuals, and that means this population will go on increasing. And in this case, in this diagram number 2, here you see the old people and the adults, young ones, they are almost, the number or proportion is almost same. So here you will see zero growth, or this will like be a stable population. You can call it as a stable population. So this type of population you will find in Spain, Austria, Greece. And if you look at the diagram number 3 here, you see there are less young ones, so less or low birth rate. That means and there are more old people here in this population, so more deaths will take place. and less births are taking place. So altogether, if you see, so the effect would be that the overall population in this type of like in such countries will be a declining population, or you will see a negative growth. Alright, because less births are taking place and more deaths would be there, as there is more older population, so there would be a negative growth, or you can call it as a declining population. Alright, so this is all about the age structure. Now natality is nothing, it's a scientific term for birth rate. It is shown as the crude birth rate, and natality rate is nothing but the number of births per 1,000 individuals per year. So how many births take place in a group of 1,000 individuals per year, that gives us the birth rate or natality rate of that particular population. And similarly we have mortality rate. Mortality rate means death rate, it's the measure of deaths. So natality is the measure of births, mortality is the measure of the number of deaths. All right, so this mortality rate can be calculated as the number of deaths per 1,000 individuals per year. Scientists use these factors like size, density, population dispersion or spacing, age structures, etc. to describe a population, or these factors help scientists to predict how a population might change over time. Alright, so this is all about the characteristics of a population. Thank you. Have a nice day.